Well, it is a soft day at work, but I might as well start on the Yukon. The summer after Mom's accident, I got the opportunity to spend my summer in the Yukon uh, working for a hunting outfitter. Dave Coleman had just moved to Grovedale and had sold a hunting corral or hunt for a corral made from 9 or 30 foot long by 2 feet wide poplar trees. Having been both pretty much in the thoroughbred training barn my mom had built for up to 20 horses at a time, I had to learn how to put on a pack saddle and packs. The corrals were like a party sight with all of the people watching the initiation of a group of young men. My memory now is a little shady with the severe brain damage I inherited from the car crash I was in 2004, but I did have some pictures which had to be developed out of an old camera with a couple of British cowboys. They were going to spook an old 17-hand mule that was pretty old. It was a good thing that they had a tractor and somewhere to put a dead mule. It would have been good for a bait station wherever it went at the start of the summer. So you don't try to. I learned that you don't try to spook out an old mule. Got it. Life is about learning. Dave's red-haired daughter Becky, who is a couple of years older than me, has dealt with many young crushes. She is married now with 4 sons, I think, living and outfitting in the Yukon. But she helped bandage up my heel after I stepped in a wrong place next to a smudge fire, which is meant to keep flies back from the horses. But as us boys all got trained up and ready to head for the Yukon, we all brought our own saddles, E-swing bush axe, and leather axe holders, clothes, cameras, shore shoes that I swiped out of Steve from Steve J before school was out, and my slim -5 degrees Celsius sleeping bag. Mom also made me take the 40 below sleeping bag. Thanks, Mom. I guess. Anyways, we stopped at Liard Hot Springs, which was the first stop I remember. They opened the door of the horse trailer, and Mike and I got out of our sleeping bags and got sleeping bags to go to the hot springs. My heel had been blown up from potential infection from the smudge. Whatever sulfur minerals are in our heating the hot springs, or yeah, whatever. But my burn must have been at the right time because all of the waiting I did in the hot springs seemed to cure my heel. I can't even see it. Out in the window. There we go. There we go. Waiting I did heal, which I never had problems again. We loaded back into the vehicle, which I think Jay was driving. He works for the MD-16 now, who I saw at work at South Wapiti Transfer Station. That's where I am right now, at the garbage dump. It must have been someone else driving down the gravel road. Mike and I were pretty full of energy from sleeping from Grovedale all the way to Liard Hot Springs, so we expected someone to notice the trailer door swinging behind us because someone had forgotten to lock the trailer door. Maybe the road is paved now in 2019, but the gravel road made a lot of dust, so I don't condemn for my safety. Luckily, we found a length of yellow rope somewhere in the trailer. I threw it over my arm, and Mike had the other end of it and began to cling to the trailer door. When I got to the latch for the door, I threw it on and threw a square knot, which we had learned at the Dave Goldman School, on the latch, and Mike dragged me and the tied rope and tied the door shut. I remember there was an Offspring cassette that we listened to in our bunk cabin at Dave's house above Faro in the Yukon before our crew and the horses and the tack were moved down to the edge of the bush before we headed down the trail. Everything I've done makes me wish less and less to start a big company, but us kids had a good time waiting around throwing our E-swing bush axes at target trees. We did start down the trail, and the first length the trail was on was a muskeg. There was a lot of work done because they built us a walkway for us and the horses above the muskeg. But I think that's it for the dump reading.